Hey, what's up guys? In this today tutorial I'm gonna show you how to color grade this footage that I've shot a couple days ago in Mexico. Okay, so let's go to the edit and create new timeline. If you don't know how to do that, it's Control and shortcut. We're gonna uncheck empty timeline, we're gonna create, and here we have it. I shot this footage on a Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera raw. Over here you can see all the stuff, and let's set up our project. We're gonna go to the color management. I'm gonna be using LUT that comes with Davinci Resolve. I'm gonna do a little warmer look, codec 2383. Okay, click save, and gamma 2.2 is fine. Okay, so this is our default look of the project. Let me bring scopes over here so you guys all can see what the hell is going on. Okay, I'll leave it somewhere in the corner. Okay, so here's our footage. Guy working on upholstery. So the first thing that I always do is let's remove a little bit of noise in the footage. And the way that I do it, I go to the motion effects, and I'm gonna do to the spatial threshold. I'm gonna uncheck this, otherwise they're all gonna be kinked together. And the settings I always use for the Luma 2, and for the Chroma about 10. Okay, so let's check it out. Before and after. Before and after. There's a huge difference. I don't know if the compression lets you see it, but there's a huge difference in between them. Okay, and because the LUT that I set is Rec 709, we're gonna add a little bit of color to our footage before we're gonna start grading. There's two ways you can add the color. One, you can just click on a saturation bar over here, or you can add saturation with independent colors. Supposedly this is a better way. I'm not really sure about it. I always use this particular way. Okay, so that's my first node. I'm gonna call it let's see, change label denoise plus color so you guys can follow. Okay, then I'm gonna do Alt S, add another serial node, and Alt P. We're gonna make a parallel. So in the second node, I'm gonna call this brightness. Not really a scientific term, but that should do. And what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna play a little bit with the values, that way nothing is crushed, because I want to start working with a pretty clean footage. Because over here you see, if you bring it down as it was, there's a lot of blacks crashed like that, but when you lift it up, boom, like that is perfect. Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing with the highlights. I'm gonna bring it down a little bit. Always remember that this is a film look. If you would be color grading, let's say, footage for TV or, I don't know, some cheap project, you would crank everything up like that and you're gonna be good to go. But this is how you do it for film. Okay, so let's take a look. Alright, let's click before and after. Before and after. That already looks pretty sweet. Alright, so let's see. Okay, let's start adjusting individual areas of the image. Let's make it more cinematic. So the first thing that I can see is that there's two sources of light. There's one over here and another one over here. There's a little window. So let's isolate that and emphasize the lighting, make it a little bit more dramatic. And the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to create this mask right over here. Regular circle, nothing fancy. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit of soft edge to it, and I'm gonna place it just probably around here. Should be pretty good. Okay, so the next thing that I'm gonna track this thing so it stays in one place. That way everything gonna look nice and sweet. Okay, it takes a little time. Okay, let's see. Yep, looks pretty good. And then I'm gonna go over here, qualifier, and I'm only gonna work on illuminance. So this is the third tab right here. Let's see. We're gonna do a highlight selection, and so let's see. I'm gonna keep going. Okay, there we go. Okay, just like this looks pretty nice. We're gonna do a nice softening and possibly a little bit of blur. Not too much because you're gonna start getting crazy dancing noise, but like that looks pretty good to me. Actually, a little bit like this because I don't want to touch the guy. Okay, so whatever I'm gonna do now only going to affect this area. Let's check it out. See, it's only affecting this area. Okay, and what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna brighten it up just a little bit, not too much. We're emphasizing the light. See, before and after, before and after. That's already looking really, really cool. So let's check it out, everything before and after, before and after. That looks pretty sweet. So now, let's see what else we can do. Let's add another node, Alt-P, another parallel node. And for this one, I'm going to call it local light. Okay, let's see what else we can do. This area over here is a little bit dark, I think. We can brighten it up slightly by adding another mask. Let's do that. Let's see what we can add. Probably over here we can add custom curve. Something, let's say something like this. Should be good. Okay. Alright, I think that looks pretty cool. Let's add soft edge and see what it looks like. Okay. And let's add a little bit of light. Boom, that looks pretty cool. Now we can see a little bit of details. But what happens when you add the light and the midtones, the image actually losing the contrast. And a lot of amateur colorists don't know that, but whenever you add brightness, you always have to compensate contrast. So let's go to the contrast over here and start cranking it up a little bit until everything gonna blend in nice with the overall image. Alright, look at that. How awesome is that? Before and after. See, that looks really, really cool. Now the only thing we need to do is fix our mask a little bit. Let's see. Power window. That way we're not gonna contaminate actual car. Maybe add a little bit when getting inside like this. Alright. I'm gonna add note over here for later. And let's see, before and after. We actually can add even more contrast like this. So let's check it out. That looks beautiful. Okay, let's see the whole picture. That looks great. Okay, and another thing we need to do, just like the previous, let's drag this mask, make sure it stays. I'm not going to be swimming all over the place. Now go back here and track forward. Okay, so that looks really, really cool. Alright, so I mean the image looks really, really nice, but I feel like something's missing. So maybe we can emphasize a little bit of color over here on the Impala. Let's create another node, Alt-B. Okay, and we're gonna call this node Impala. And let's select the trunk area. What am I doing? Okay, let's select the trunk area. Okay, like just like that. Okay, select. Alright, for the sake of tutorial, that looks fine. That way I'm not gonna waste too much time on it. Okay, we're gonna do a little bit feather inside, and let's add a little bit of color, just like that. And again, let's track this thing. Let's drag this thing back and drag this thing forward. Okay, and let's see what it looks like before and after. See how much difference this thing made? Obviously, my mask is not that accurate. Could have done a little better job over here. Just like that. Okay. Alright. So, are we done or not yet? Well, let's emphasize this light a little bit more. And we can do the same thing like with our local light. Let's create another node. And we're going to call this overhead light. Okay, and let's create another mask. And we can sort of, I guess kind of can go a little bit sloppy like that. We're going to go again to the Luma. And let's select only the brightest parts of the image. Okay, just like that. Let's soften it a little bit. Same thing for the mask. Let's make it nice and soft. Inside, a little bit outside. Very nice. Let's drag this thing down. Okay, just like that. Let's see, is that all the frames? Okay, cool. And let's add tiny little bit of light, just like this. And again, a little bit of contrast to compensate. Okay, let's check it out. Before and after. Before and after. Okay, let's check it out, the whole thing that we've done. Look at that. Very, very nice. And as you can see here, we're keeping everything pretty milky. We don't have very hard shadows. But that's not the end. Let's add another overall vignetting. That way we focus our attention on the guy or whatever it might be in your shot. Okay, let's do regular circle, just like this, kind of sloppy. Make it a little bigger. Okay, we're creating pretty moody scenario here. Let's lower it down a little bit, and we're gonna invert. Okay, thing just like that. Looks great. And let's see. Oops, this one. Let's track this thing down and see how our image looks. Alright. Let's see. Look at the difference. See how it focuses now in this area? Very nice. Okay. What else can we do? Well, let's sharpen the image a little bit. And I'm probably not going to recommend doing this in Resolve, since most likely you're going to work on your footage later on in Premiere or whatever your editing program is. But what can you do? Let's say if this is a final output. Um, go over here, blur and sharpen just a tiny bit. Don't go too crazy. So you can start introducing a lot of sharp edges, and you don't want that. Okay, this a little bit. Okay, for the sake of tutorial, slightly overkill. That way you guys can see the difference. Okay, so look at that. Look, before, after, before, after. It definitely made a huge difference. So let's change the label and call it sharpen. Okay, let's add a little bit of film grain. Since Blackmagic camera is Super 16 millimeter, let's emulate that and make it look like Super 16. Film grain, slap on it. I like this one, 50D. Crank down saturation, and let's see the effect. Look, on, off. I don't know if the compression allows you to see it, but it looks pretty sweet like that, very filmic. Okay, so that looks sweet. We're almost done. Let's call this grain. Okay. And the final, let's say if you have some kind of creative grading, such as teal and orange, let's say, let me move this thing. If you have a teal and orange, let's make sure that the black stays black and like on a very, very low shadow area. And the way to do that, you can either go to the log and manually adjust the black point, as you can see here on the scopes, which I would probably do very low range, something around here, and adjust it, you know. I don't know if you can see this. Okay. Yeah, you can see it in the shadows. Let's say your shadows somehow blue. Just let's say you created the look and you left your shadows a little bit blue, just like that. Obviously, this looks very amateur. So, in order to fix that, let's say that's your, let's say it's teal and orange look. Okay, so we're gonna create the final node, and we're gonna go to Costume, Luma versus Saturation, and we're gonna add a very interesting curve that will take care of black being true black. Okay, probably just around like that is okay. Okay, check it out, before and after. Can you see it? Before and after. And of course, depending on your setting, how you want to do it, you can have it, let's say, like this or like that. It's all changes, parameters. That's how you fix color tint in the shadows. Alright, so let's take a look before and after. And for the final touch, if you want to do this, we can do output 235, make it look like cinema. Kind of cheesy, but okay, like that. Or maybe you want to make a light glow a little bit. Let's say you want to do a soft glow. Alright, I'll show you how to do that as well. We're going to go to the qualifier, again to the Luma, and we're going to crank this thing down all the way down until we see the brightest point, which should be the light, since it's kind of clipping. Okay, let's do low. And we can add a little bit of, not blur, but mist effect. And let's crank it up a little bit. Oops, sorry, not a log. This one. Alright, and let's check it out. Look, before and after. Before and after. Okay? You can add more. You can repeat the same step again. It's this one. Kind of pointless, but looks pretty good. Alright, and thank you for watching, and stay tuned for the next tutorials.